This is Michael Spedden, and welcome to Fowl Players Radio, your one-stop shop for all of your pop culture needs. We feature interviews from musicians, actors, comics, dancers, authors, and much, much more, up-and-coming artists and beloved favorites. We've got it all, people on stage, backstage, out front, and behind the scenes. Sit back and relax. Let's have some fun.
Hi, this is Keith Mack, and you're listening to Fowl Players Radio.
Hey, it's Keith Brewer from whatever band you please, the Ravens, Company of Wolves, Barley Juice, and you're listening to Fowl Players Radio.
And welcome to Season 11 of Fowl Players Radio, Episode 17. Season 11, we've got 11. And tonight, our guest is Andy Henson. He's a singer-songwriter from Virginia, just signed a great distribution deal with Golden Robot Records and has a new single out called Old Friend. He's been getting airplay with it on 97 Underground and other places, and links to his music and label can be found in the show notes. Had a great time talking music tonight, talking clubs, the Mid-Atlantic music scene. It was a great time tonight. And again, remember, links to his music can be found in the show notes. And the Fowl Players of Perryville are back in action, having shows on the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad, Fifth Company Brewing in Perryville, Maryland, the Susky River Beverage Company, Madigan's on the Waterfront, and Maryland Party Boat. If you're interested in seeing a show, www.fowlplayersofperryville.com, or if you are interested in booking us, because we do charity events and all kinds of other events, www.fowlplayersofperryville.com. Our email is foulplayersperryville@yahoo.com, and our number is 443-600-0446 every Tuesday from 4 to 6 p.m. The Back of the Rack, the Michael Spedden Show on 97underground.com. We feature songs you forgot you liked, classics that never die, interviews with up-and-coming and classic beloved bands. Go to 97underground.com and download the free app today. Listen to us wherever you go. You can also hear my interviews in their archive on YouTube. If you go there, it's 97 Underground, Michael Spedden at YouTube. So go check it out. I've got a nice archive of interviews in case you've missed them on the show or you want to go back and listen again. They're right there. We thank you for watching and listening to Fowl Players Radio, our main website, foulplayersradio.com, our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@foulplayersradio. Remember, support our guests and their endeavors. Links to their books, albums, tickets to their shows, and much more can be found in the show notes of every episode. And remember, hit that like and subscribe button, please, and leave us a fair review. It really helps with getting the word out. It really helps our artists get the word out about them. More people see them, and we're happy all around. So, folks, we'll be right back after these words with Andy Henson.
Hey, this is Lou Maestro, and you are listening to Fowl Players Radio with Michael Spedden.
This is Skinzakis, and you're listening to Fowl Players Radio.
And welcome back to another episode of Fowl Players Radio. My name is Michael Spedden, and tonight we are in Season 11. We've got 11. It goes to 11 seasons, but I plan on going on more after that. But I think my listeners will be glad when the season's over, so I stop saying that on every episode because some of them just want to kill me right now. And our guest tonight is Mr. Andy Henson. Andy Henson, a Virginia native. Welcome, Andy.
Thank you for having me.
With lots of good news, a longtime musician, remembers
Long time.
back in my day, we're in the same ballpark age group. And, you just recently reached the Holy Grail, the Great White Buffalo.
Yep.
You got it in the end zone. You are signed a record deal, a record distribution deal. Golden Robot Records. And congratulations on that. You have a single coming out and lots of exciting
30 years.
yes, only 30. Hey, overnight success, a real Cinderella story here, huh? Right. So Andy, I'll shut up and welcome you.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it.
It's great to have you, and it's great to hear this good news. So this must be very exciting for you. Your single "Old Friend" is getting airplay with us on 97 Underground, and um, lots of other great news. So, Dish, let's tell us, spill the beans for us here. Tell us what's going on.
Oh man, just I was in a band called Last Night's Villain. We accomplished a great deal over the last 6 years, but just in August, the end of August, we broke up, and I just took all the originals that I had. I picked one and just got with some buddies. My buddy Dean Michaels from Novarium and Jonathan May from the band A Day in Pompeii. They helped me record. Jonathan did the bass and drums. I did all the guitars, vocals. Dean did the mixing, mastering, did some backup vocals, a few extra guitars. And we released it. Got my buddy Stephen Corgan Hammersmith to do a lyric video. I released it myself through DistroKid, put the video on YouTube. It's done really well. Sent it to a bunch of radio stations. 97 Underground was the first one because they've been supporting me, gosh, since Last Night's Villain started releasing songs 6 years ago. I've been getting airplay. I sent Old Friend to a label called Golden Robot Records from Australia because I saw my buddies in a band from New York called Streetlight Circus just signed a deal with them. So I was like, oh, and I've heard of Golden Robot through the years. They were on my radar. They have Filter, Stephen Piercy from Rat, Faster Pussycat, lots of cool bands. And I sent the lyric video and my song to them, and within a day, they got back to me. I honestly, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. They said they loved the song. Production was great. Song was great. Lyric video was intriguing. Wanted to know if I was interested in a distribution deal and marketing and promotion. And through the years, like, LNV got so many record deal offers, but it was the kind of deal where they want you to pay like $2 or $3 grand to help them with marketing. And to me, that never made any sense. I'm like, that's not a record deal. You're just a PR company I'm paying you for.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's all it is. And this is not that kind of deal.
Right.
We worked out all the details. They sent me the contract. I got some people to check it over. It was legit, and that's it. And now they are going to re-release Old Friend in May. They're going to do a pre-save announcement, I think, on May 3rd, and the re-release date should be May 17th.
Oh, good.
And that's it. I've got my band, working on getting my band together, and then we want to start playing shows. Try to get on big opening slots for national acts and festivals, things like that. And just trying to get it rolling. But yeah, I mean, I've accomplished so much more in the past 4 months than I have in the last 3 years being in a band.
Oh,
So
good.
I wish I'd done it a long time ago.
Well, glad to hear it. And glad to hear it because, I mean, it really is a lot of hard work. It's a lot of frustration, having been a musician, an actor. It's just whenever something happens, it is just so sweet. Whenever something happens in your favor, but there's a lot you got to hurdle and a lot you have to deal with to get to those moments, and I definitely hear you, but those deals where you pay $3 grand to the label, did they throw in a bridge in Brooklyn in that deal by any chance? Or
yeah, it's just crazy. A lot of people don't realize that stuff happens in the music industry. But now, you get this fancy message, and it's like, oh, we want to sign you, and it's only going to cost you $2 or $3 grand or more. I'm just like, nah, no thanks.
Yeah, there was that was going on because I know somebody whose kids, had a band, and friends of mine had kids that had a band, and they were going on this tour, but it was like, they're paying them. It was like, wait a minute, you're paying to go play shows.
That's a whole other hole we could dive into. You'd be surprised with that too. When bands are on tour, a lot of them have paid to be on that tour, and they don't call it pay to play anymore, but it's called a buy-on opportunity.
Yeah.
And that happens we get those offers all the time too. You'd be surprised. Even big tours, when you go see bands, a lot of times the opening act has paid to play. It's sad, but
it really is. It really is. And I guess that they don't throw in a bridge in Brooklyn either, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's-
That whole thing. It's a tough thing, and I'm sure you probably experienced this too. When it comes to playing shows and getting paid, and it's a matter of getting the people there.
Mhm.
Who's responsible for promoting it? Is the venue or is it the band? And if it doesn't draw or whatever, or if it
I've
does
always said
draw,
it should be both. The venue should be
yeah,
promoting the show as well as the band.
I
I see
agree.
why. I see why a lot of bands do the buy-on opportunity because
Hmm.
it exposes you to a big crowd. But after a while, it's like you've got to make that money back. And
You do. You're not going to make it through streaming.
yeah,
5 million people listen to your music, you get a dime
Mm-hmm.
or whatever it is. I mean, that's an awful deal right there too.
Yep, absolutely.
That's absolutely terrible right there too. And I think, I mean, there's the whole other thing too, where you do bring people in and then they cry poverty at the end of the night. When it comes to paying you and everything, and it's just it's a very tough thing to be in this business. It's a very
Yeah.
tough thing. Making a living at it, with all the other expenses and stuff out there. I had that one fella I heard, and I don't know if you've experienced this too. He said something, plays in a band, and he was saying that he said something on Facebook about people coming out to see the band, but please drink more than ice water.
Yeah. Well, the venues look at food and alcohol sales.
Exactly. I mean, you're there to draw, people in to buy the food and drink the
Mhm.
liquor and whatever else. And,
Yeah.
the ice water just doesn't cut it, but then a bunch of people got mad at him. And then all of a sudden he was responsible for everything for making that comment. Everything from, must be nice to be rich to be able to come out and buy drinks to, you're contributing to my alcoholism. All right,
That's-
forget it. Just keep it
It
off of
does a lot of
social.
different things like that. I mean, with
Mhm.
LNV, we actually talked about just playing originals and opening for nationals, and then
Mhm.
start becoming a tribute band. We had a bunch of different ideas for tribute bands
Mhm.
because we would open for nationals, but a lot of times we would get hired by the local clubs to open for tribute bands. Tribute bands make ridiculous amounts of money.
That's something wrong with that.
It's crazy. And it's just like, man, we're trying to promote our own music, and all we got to do is get this gimmick and dress up like somebody else. And all of a sudden, we're making thousands of dollars per show. But that's why tributes, we and some of the big bands, we opened up for a Metallica tribute, and this Metallica tribute was actually endorsed by Metallica. Metallica would hire them to play
Hmm.
like after show parties and stuff. It was interesting.
Huh.
There's a lot of that goes on.
Hmm.
You got the Iron Maidens, the all-female Iron Maiden tribute. They're awesome. I've seen them. They're endorsed. All the guys in Iron Maiden give them the thumbs up.
Right. And Judas Priestess.
Yep.
There's a bunch of them out there that do it. And there's friends of mine that do it too.
Mhm.
I've never had the desire to do that. And I think you and I are kind of along, the same thought process. I'd rather put my energy into being me. I'd
Exactly.
rather just say, hey, look, this is, live and die by yourself,
Yeah.
being yourself, putting yourself out there. And I believe me, and it's not a comment about talent, because believe me, to be able to do these other bands to a T, you got to have good chops
Yeah. Oh yeah.
and the ability to do it. Um, the ability, the desire, the passion, the talent to do it, but I just don't have that desire. That's just me. That's
When we
just
were
me.
talking to these bands and we played with them, most all the tribute bands, they used to have an original band and they just got tired of
Hmm.
making little money. So
Yeah.
they started a tribute. I mean, and at the end of the night, I can see it because when we play with them, we play like a 45-minute set. They play like an hour and a half. But
Hmm.
like the end of the night, we're getting 500 for 45, and they're getting like $2,000.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
start
yeah.
thinking like, I can dress up like this band, that band, whatever, and play shows too.
Right,
You know,
right.
but it's a
Have
lot
you
of work. It just depends on what you want to do because the industry is so messed up. Nobody makes
Mhm.
money from selling music anymore. You only make
Right.
money from performing, and you
Mhm.
make money from selling merch.
Yes, yes, yes.
So it's
That's the
totally
way it
different.
is now.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Have you ever seen a really bad tribute band?
Actually, no. Everyone I've seen is really good because I mean, I would hope that the club would look into them before they book them and not book a bad tribute band.
I
I've
have.
seen quite a few different Kiss tribute bands, and
Yeah,
I could rate them. Some
yeah.
of them were good, but then you see another Kiss tribute band, and it's like,
Hmm.
man, these dudes sound exactly like Kiss, where these
Hmm.
guys look like they're trying.
Right, right, right. Yeah, I've seen some bad. I saw a really bad Kiss tribute band once, and I'll say no more. I won't say what they were called because truthfully, I can't remember what they were called.
Mhm.
But I was just there, and I was just like, "Damn."
Yeah.
That's what they should have called themselves. Damn, because that was, oh God, that was a nightmare. But now coming up, the years that you were playing, I mean, you're kind of from a good deal south of where I am. I was in the Baltimore Metro DC area
Mhm.
scene, New York as well, and some other parts of Maryland and Pennsylvania. Um, where were you? I guess kind of making your you know getting your feet wet and playing when you were young, and then the clubs you were doing.
Well, I started playing professionally when I was 17. I'm from Lynchburg, Virginia.
Hmm.
I would play Lynchburg, Roanoke, and Charlottesville are all an hour from
Hmm.
each other. So mainly Lynchburg and Roanoke. Used to be some cool clubs in Roanoke. They had a good scene. And then in the 90s with my really old band, Aphasia, we would play, Virginia Beach, Raleigh, Greensboro, Charlottesville. Charlottesville had a really cool venue called Trax. Aphasia opened up for Typo Negative at Trax back in 1995, something like that, 94, 95. Dating myself now. But
Back in 19 boom, 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 right?
exactly. And then,
I
when
say that all the time.
just mainly the Central Virginia to the coast, Virginia Beach, and
Hmm.
North Carolina. We played there a lot. I never got to play up back then. I never got to play up in Northern Virginia and Maryland,
Hmm.
but I used to go up there all the time, going to Jack's in
Hmm.
Springfield.
Sure.
And man, we used to go to Hammer Jacks
Oh yeah.
all the time. I mean, it's 4.5 hours away from Lynchburg. We
Hmm.
would drive up there, go to the show, and most of the time we would drive back, get home the next morning.
Hmm.
And we used to do that a lot. I mean, I saw so many cool shows at Hammer Jacks. That
Oh
place
yeah.
is great.
Oh yeah. The things you can do when you're 22 that
Hmm.
are out of the question when you're 52.
Yeah.
You know,
Because
yeah, that's
talking, CJ, the singer from Firehouse, just passed away a couple of weeks
yeah.
ago.
Sadly,
Um,
yes.
yeah, I mean, this was, gosh, probably their first tour. They were playing up at Hammer Jacks, and me and a buddy of mine were up there. And of course, this is when I was working at the record exchange. We had passes, we're hanging out. They were the nicest band. I mean,
Hmm.
he came up to us and was like, "Hey, man, I'm CJ, the singer for Firehouse." And we're like, "Yeah, dude, cool." We're thinking, "Yeah, you're the reason we're here. We want to see your band." But I
Right,
mean, they were
right,
just
right.
so nice.
Hmm.
A lot of times you meet bands and they're either sitting at a table and everybody's in line. These dudes are
Hmm.
just walking around like, "Hey, man, what's up? Hey," and
That's how
it
they
was
were
really cool.
there.
Yeah.
That's how they were there. I mean, Hammerjacks was almost like uh, I almost like to say it was almost like a house party as
Hmm.
compared to a performance. The performance at an arena,
Yeah.
everybody's backstage, like locked up like Fort Knox. But
Hmm.
Hammerjacks, when you play there, the guys wanted to come out and mingle and hang
Yeah.
out because it was a cool place. I've had a number of episodes with the fellow who was the talent coordinator at Hammerjacks. I did 2 episodes with him, just talking, and the folks that did the Hammerjacks documentary, just sharing the memories of the place. And I was there quite a bit, when I was back in those days. it was just an amazing place. I saw so many great concerts there, so many great shows.
Mhm.
Such an institution, and there have been attempts to bring it back, but it just never
Yeah.
really. You can never go home again. I mean, I understand they were trying to redo CBGB's in Vegas,
Mhm.
and I just, it's just, you can never go home again with something like that.
I mean, a few years ago, I was at the M3 festival, and
Mhm.
97 Underground had a booth set up, and there
Yeah,
was some dude there. He was introducing himself. He was supposedly going to be the new whatever, going to reopen Hammerjacks,
yes,
and
yes.
that never happened. So,
Yeah, there was something that started. Of course, Hammerjacks was torn down, I believe, to
mhm.
build the parking lot for the Ravens stadium.
Yeah, yeah.
And in that warehouse district, somebody did open a venue. It was called Hammerjacks, but it wasn't like a regular bar that was open all the time, every night of the week. I think they were only there. They would have shows, I think, during Ravens tailgate parties, or they would have special events there from time
Okay.
to time. It was an odd story as to how he ended up getting the trademark and everything. The trademark lapsed, and I think the original owner forgot to
Mhm.
renew the trademark, and he grabbed it, and then he was going to M3 and selling the T-shirts and the hats and
Yeah,
things like that. And
yeah,
that's what I know. And I'm not going to talk about things I don't know the exact story on or anything like that, because there's
I
there's
got you.
pros and cons to both sides of it, from what I understand. And I don't want to speak out of line, but
Yeah,
it's just a real shame that it had to go. But what can you say? What can you say? Just be glad that we were able to be there.
mhm. Exactly. Yep. I wish I could have played there, but oh
Yeah, me
well.
too. Me too. Me too. Just such a legendary place. It was yeah, and the thing is that in that documentary, I mean, these bands from LA and everything thought the world of the place. They
Oh
were
yeah.
like, well, wow, Hammerjacks, it's
Yeah, that was one of the top venues on the East Coast. I mean, bands would tour and make sure they hit Hammerjacks. It was
mhm.
cool.
They sure did. They sure did. It was like I said, just such a legendary place, so just a shame it didn't last, but that was, but these shows and everything is something that I kind of talked about on my 97 Underground show that aired today as we're filming. As we're getting older, you had mentioned Hammerjacks going up there. You'd have to get in the door at 8. You stood
Mhm.
around until 11:30 for the bands to come on.
Yeah.
And then you stood around until 2 o'clock when it was over, and then you were able to go home and sometimes even go to work the next day. Nowadays,
Mhm.
we go to shows. Um, I think these venues have learned to put seats out for people. Have
Mhm.
seated shows. We're standing there for 3 hours. It used to be that we needed a couple of days to recover from drinking. Now we
Mhm.
need 3 days to recover from standing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now we're in bed at midnight instead
Yeah.
of just seeing the first glimpse of the band at midnight. So,
Exactly. Now most shows, when we opened up for nationals, we would go on at 8,
yeah,
and then
right.
the nationals done by 10:30.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was kind of
Because
nice, actually.
it is, it is. You know why? Because they haven't gotten any younger either.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Totally. I hear you.
It's amazing how I see too. A lot of these guys we grew up listening to are still at it at their age. And amen
Mhm.
to them. It's great to see. The sad part about it is that you being in the music scene from the days, me too. Sometimes you look on Facebook, and especially with your music buddies from those days, sometimes it feels like you're reading the obituary page,
Mhm. Oh yeah.
which is
Yeah.
it's a sad thing.
Because we had the opportunity, we got to open for my band, Last Night's Villain. We
Mhm,
opened up for Quiet Riot last year, and Rudy
mhm.
Sarzo, he was really nice. I think Rudy Sarzo is in his 70s.
Yeah, he is. He is.
And
He
it's
is.
crazy when I think about it, because I would open up for a lot of these bands,
Mhm.
and I'm like, they're the same. I'm 52, but these dudes are the same age is my father-in-law and my mother-in-law.
Right,
And
right.
I'm sitting there trying to imagine my in-laws being in a band.
Yeah, I know, I know.
It's just like
But
it doesn't work.
right, but they can still get out there. They still have their chops. They can
Oh
still
yeah.
sing and play and everything.
Yep.
It's great. And then, I mean, there are some of them that I've seen where some of the folks are like with sticks, their bass player's been ill for a long time. And I saw them open with play with Tesla and Joan Jett a number of years ago. And they had a bass player, a touring bass player. And then they brought what was his name? Panazzo. Is it Chuck or
I'm
the
not
bass?
sure.
Yeah, what which one? The brother, they were brothers, the bass player and the drummer, but they
Okay.
brought him out and he did like 2 or 3 songs on bass, and that was it. And then there was a couple of other bands where they had they would bring some touring musicians, and then the original member would come out and play a few, and then when he couldn't
Yeah.
anymore, the touring musician would finish the show. And
Yeah.
and
Then
that's
you
a
had
good way to,
Foreigner, who no original members for the last like 10 years.
yeah, I know,
They still sound great and they're touring, So they got
right.
Jeff Pilson from Dokken
Mm-hmm.
playing bass.
Yep.
So.
And the fellow from Hurricane was singing for him.
Yep, Kelly Hansen.
Yep. And got somebody else well known had just joined them too. I know Pilson was in it. Hurricane. I know the one was it Mick Jones was he's been sick, but he's been with them on and off. He'll do like a few blocks of shows and then not, I think.
Yeah.
But hey, as long as you're able to do it, I know a lot of Motown acts have been doing that for quite a while,
Totally.
Yeah. And I tell you, those guys were the real deal too, having to do all those dance steps, keep that coordinated, and be on pitch.
Exactly.
They didn't have auto tune back in those days.
About to say that, no auto tune there.
I know, gosh, I mean, it's just amazing. The everything that just went into a show back in those days. People had it. They had the good chops. They were the real deal.
Yep. And my wife and I were at a restaurant the other day, and they were playing like music from the 50s. A lot of the doo-wop groups and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, all 4 guys in the group were singing all their parts. And I'm like, these dudes all recorded this at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
There was no go in one at a time, fix it, auto tune, none of that. They'd go in there as a group, they'd lay it down, and that was it. You had to be on point.
Right. And that's the difference too when it comes to because I do both. I've done both theater as an actor, and I've done movies and television too. And now granted, usually with theater you have a lot more rehearsal time. But with television and movies, you can always say cut, do it again. It's like being in the studio, really. You get your sides a lot of times. I mean, in the times where I've done it, I've gotten my final sides either that day or maybe the day before, because they're constantly changing the script and rewriting things and everything. And you finally get it. And I've been on shows where you get there and nobody's off book. But they're able to, cut, do it again until they get what they want. Theater, boom, you got to be on point every night.
Yep.
And I'll tell you what, too, having done both theater and played in bands, I've experienced probably just as many Spinal Tap moments doing theater as I have playing in bands, too. Do you have any Spinal Tap moments you'd like to share with us?
Gosh, not really. I mean, I can't think of anything. I don't know, I'm very fortunate. I mean, just lots of cool experiences. I mean, nothing funky.
Yeah.
We opened up for Slaughter. Dana Strom was super cool. He
made great.
He made our bass player's night. He gave him a lifetime access pass because, he told him that he grew up listening to Slaughter and following his bass techniques and everything. And he's like, man, let's enjoy this moment. And he's like, here, I want you to have this, and gave him a pass. He's like, anytime you want to come see us. That was really cool. No Spinal Tap stuff. I mean, you always have your stuff where you're playing and like the battery of your wireless takes a crap in the middle of a song or something like that. And you're like, or somebody breaks a string and you got to jump in and play their part for them.
Yeah.
No, nothing really. I mean, Only silly things. I used to have really long hair,
Uh-huh.
but I teach jujitsu and karate as well. So like, I used to have really long hair, and when I would
Mhm.
play, be headbanging, and I'm singing, and the hair you inhale before you sing, and the hair starts choking you, it goes in your mouth, and you're like, that's about it. You got to learn how to spit the hair
Yes.
out and start singing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I haven't had long hair in like 20 years, so
Right, right, right. I
I miss it
know.
on the stage. I do not miss it when I'm teaching and training. I can
Yeah.
tell you
Well,
that.
I mean, doing martial arts, that's just you're just putting an extra weapon into somebody else's
Oh
hands
yeah,
while you're doing it, you
absolutely.
know?
Well, that's why I cut it. I was grappling with a buddy of mine. This was like 20 some years ago, and he choked me with my hair.
Mhm. Right,
I was
right,
like, this can happen in practice. It can definitely happen in real life. So I was just like, forget it.
right. Or you can end up getting ripped out of your scalp, which
Exactly.
that wouldn't be good either,
Yep. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, that's something too that again, I have a lot of admiration for that. I've boxed, not
Cool.
competitively, but just as part of a exercise class that I used to go to.
Yeah.
And so much of that, I mean, if you're in there, you're doing, sparring with somebody or even in an actual competitive fight. I mean, not only do you have to think about what you're going to do, but you have to think about what they're going to do and what you're going to do about that,
Yep.
and then what they're
That's
going
why
to
you have
do
to
about that.
practice. You
So
have to
that's,
practice
yeah.
consistently, and you have to be able to react according to
Hmm.
what they're doing, because if you're thinking about something, you're probably already too late.
Right, right,
So you
right.
practice the stuff so much where whatever they do, you just you don't even think about
Hmm.
it.
Exactly,
Yeah, it's
exactly.
hard. It's also hard on the body, but it's really good for you, but it's tough on you.
Mhm. I,
but
I've worked
but
with
I
a
love it.
number of, I've worked with a number of people that are at the black belt level and above, especially in acting, because I've been with on sets where there was like a fight scene where it was choreographed by experts, and they
Mhm.
were showing the people how to throw the punch and what you're going to do after he hits you and how to just miss the guy and everything. Very, very interesting, very, very
Yeah,
interesting. And it
that's
wasn't
pretty
just
much
a
all I've liked since I was a little kid was martial arts and music.
right, right.
Been very disciplined with both, and just stuck with it. Discipline and consistency. Like, we were joking 30 years to get a record deal, but it might take a long time. But the person who gave up 10, 20 years ago, they're never going to get
You're right.
it.
You're
So,
right. What do they say? What was it? I think Wayne Gretzky said you miss all the shots that you don't take.
hmm
Very
exactly.
true, very true. And then too, what you just said about discipline and consistency,
hmm
sticking to it,
Yep.
it says a lot. And yeah, again, discipline is the name of the game. It really
Yeah.
is. It really
I mean, I'm
is.
going to always play music, and I'm
Hmm.
not saying this is not against, I've got tons of friends that are in cover bands.
Hmm.
I'll play covers. Covers are fun. I just don't want that to be the main thing I'm doing. If I'm gonna play music, I want to record and release cool songs that people can hear.
Right,
And
right.
now, because of that, now I've got a label
Hmm.
that's gonna get my music out, worldwide. And if I would have given up, I never would have gotten that. So,
Exactly, exactly. Well, here's to perseverance, huh?
exactly.
It is. It is. And I'll be honest, in acting, music, it's got its share of frustrations. It's got its share of discouragement, but if you got the real fire in the belly, you keep forging on, you
Mhm.
know.
That's it. 100%.
Yep, it is. I mean, what other line of work besides entertainment has like 95% unemployment, but everybody wants to do it?
hmm Yep.
you know?
Yeah, I've done a couple of, like you're talking about your acting. I've done a couple of independent movies, and
Hmm.
it's tough. I mean, for one, you have to get into your character, and
Hmm.
then people don't know how much work. Like one little scene, you're gonna shoot that same scene five
Mm.
to ten times because they've
Oh
got to
yeah.
get it from this angle, that angle, and then you've
Hmm.
got to re-record your audio, and it's just like, man,
Hmm.
for maybe like a 30-second to 1 minute scene, it could take an hour or more.
Oh,
So,
easily, easily. In the movie, I was in the show Gotham, and I think it was like a 44-minute hour-long episode. It's roughly 44 minutes,
Mhm.
for roughly for commercials.
I'm a huge Batman fan. I'll have to go back and watch it because I loved Gotham when it was on.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was in the last episode filmed and the third last to air.
Okay.
And so the we filmed. It was only on in one area, one stage, one sound stage, 2 full days of shooting, and 2 full days of shooting. And I think it was probably maybe about 8 or 10 minutes of footage.
Yep.
You
It
know,
takes forever.
it
Takes
really
forever.
does. It really does, because again, like you were saying, they filmed the room forward from this side,
Mhm.
and from the back.
Yep.
And yeah, it really takes a lot. A lot goes into that, that you wouldn't even really figure on. But
It's,
it's rewarding once you accomplish something like
oh
that,
yeah.
though.
I sent you my YouTube list of all my songs, and in that the link that's audio, there's 2 videos on there as well. One of them is our video for the Poison. So when you get a chance, watch that.
Mm-hmm.
That was directed by my buddy Christopher Townsend, and
Mm-hmm.
he's the guy that I did the 2 indie films for. And
Hmm.
that the video for the Poison is very interesting. That was a long day just filming a music video. That
Mm-hmm.
thing took forever. I mean, it was crazy, and we didn't even know what the video was gonna look like until we had the premiere. And I mean, it was nuts. I mean, there's some scenes in there where it looks like we're covered in blood.
Mm.
He had to basically waterboard us with like chocolate syrup and some kind of like
Yeah.
Hollywood blood stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That sucked. I'll tell you that. It sucked. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. We're getting waterboarded with like all this
Mm.
stuff. And then we had to shoot the scene. It was rough.
Oh yeah. I know all about fake blood because I use it in my murder mysteries. And the kind we use is the it's like Hershey syrup, but it's red and it tastes like mint.
Mhm.
And that's that's what it is. And then when I was in Gotham, when I died in Gotham, I got shot. I was laying there on the floor, and the blood they use for that is actually mats. These
Oh,
red
wow.
plastic mats that they cut into a shape of a blood puddle, and that's what they put down. They shine it up with some water, and there's your blood. No mess to
That's cool.
clean up. You just pick it up off the floor. It's like dog fake vomit. you
Yeah.
know, it's just like you just go pick it up and take it wherever.
Well, hopefully my buddy Christopher Townsend will watch this and he'll pick up that and not if we do another video where he wants some kind of blood, he'll use that instead of pouring us with funky chocolate syrup and everything else.
Yeah. But it's pretty much. I'm sure the recipe for making the fake blood and the Hershey syrup is pretty similar,
Mhm.
because it feels the same. It
Yeah.
feels the same. It's got to have some kind of sugar or something in it to make it sticky, and it tastes minty and sweet. So that's
Yeah.
got to be what it is. But so much, and I learned so much whenever I'm on set. I always learn so much, from production, even with bands and sound men and light men and everything. And you learn so much from watching these pros, especially when you get a good one. The stuff that they're
Mhm.
able to do and the stuff they know, and all the things that are out there now. It's just amazing, you know.
Mhm. Oh, sound man can make or break you. You can
Yeah,
be an
you're right.
awesome band, but if your sound man is out there
Hmm.
and not doing a good job, you're gonna sound like crap.
Oh yeah,
That,
I
that's
know.
not.
I know. It's a real shame here, and since I know a lot of people in both worlds, I've tried to talk a couple of theater companies I know into, look, you got nice equipment, but I I can't hear you.
Mhm.
I can't hear you when you're. If it was there's been times where I've seen musicals and you can't hear the person singing. All you can hear is the music,
Mhm.
and then I'm like, you know what? Don't just bring in some lady's husband to do the sound man. That's
Mhm. Exactly.
spend
That
a
happens
couple
a
of
lot.
spend a couple of dollars, and I can give you a list of names. I mean, there's a lot of great sound men out there that will do theater. Yeah, they would do it. I mean, you got to pay them,
Mhm.
but it's going to be worth it in the end, because you're not going to have half the audience walking out thinking the show sucked.
Oh, I mean, last year LNV opened up for a band called Shallow Side. They're
Hmm.
doing pretty well. They're getting lots of radio play. They're on Sirius XM Octane.
Hmm.
Cool guys. This is supposed to be a big pushed show I'm not even gonna say the name of the venue because I don't even want to give them any props. But we had the opening slot. The same guy that was the booker was the sound guy.
Uh-huh.
It was awful. Like,
Oh, yeah.
we were good. Shallow Side was good. It sounded like garbage. It was
Yeah.
terrible,
Mhm.
terrible. And I was just like, man, what is this? We didn't even get paid for the show. We never got paid with our guarantee.
Mhm.
Just the sound. It was a bad experience. I guess that would be your Spinal Tap experience. But to me, usually a
Yeah.
Spinal Tap experience is funny. That wasn't funny. It sucked.
Yeah. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about because I've gone around to see some bands play, and they play there. Again, the sound man is not really a sound man. He knows the on and off switch. He can get the band playing through the PA, but the bass speaker on the PA cabinet is blown, so you got the whole time.
This wasn't even that good. It was
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah, so a crappy PA, you can't hear anything. Nothing's mixed. The soundboard is just on.
Yep.
Nothing's mixed, and he's there on his phone, completely oblivious to it. Waiting for the next band to come up so he can have an attitude while he's hooking them up and getting the other band off. It's just
Yep.
yeah, and it's just and that's part of it too, right there. That you've got to have good production because people aren't going to keep coming back for crapo production.
Yeah, they want to hear you sound as close as possible to what they hear when they listen to you on whatever radio, their streaming service, or whatever. They don't want to hear a bunch of garbage. And the cool thing was everybody that was there knew. They could tell. They were just like, it wasn't us or Shallow Side. It was the venue and the sound system. It was awful.
Right. Yep. It's a shame when that happens. Yeah, I mean, I think and it's one of those things too, I think, where people like doing things on the cheap and everything, but if you really don't know any better, having entertainment in your venue, unless you're going to do it right, is going to flop.
Yep.
It's going to flop and you're all going to end up losing, and you may as well just make it a sports bar where everybody's just watching TV instead of having anything like that in there. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work, So
exactly.
well, look, I really appreciate you coming and spending some time with us tonight, telling us all the good news. And hey, amen, mazel tov, congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anything you want to say? I'm very happy to hear this for you here. What I'd like to do now is give you the opportunity to pull out the shameless plugs. You may shamelessly plug anything you'd like to shamelessly plug, with all shamelessness included and no shamelessness spared. So go ahead and have at it.
Okay. Well, just look out. Solo band will be playing pretty soon. I'm going to have Dean Michaels from Novarium on guitar, Jonathan May from A Day in Pompeii on drums, and Lincoln York from the band Hyperflesh on bass. We're going to be looking to play, open for national shows, play at festivals. Old Friend, right now, you can still get it on all streaming services, but it will be taken off in a couple of weeks because Golden Robot Records is going to re-release it. They're going to send out a pre-save announcement on May 3rd and re-release it on May 17th. The lyric video is on YouTube still. It's not being taken down. So just look up Andy Henson, Old Friend. The only socials I have right now, I'm trying to keep it easy. I don't even have a website. Just look me up on Facebook, Andy Henson. You will find two. I have a personal page, which is a picture of me and my wife and my son and my dog. My music page is me with one of my guitars. That's the one you're going to want that has all the links to everything. Check out goldenrobotrecords.com. Look up, Filter, Stephen Piercy from Rat, my buddies in Streetlight Circus. Go to the little index and hit Robot Distro. That's the distribution label. That's the branch I'm on. And I am the second artist on that page. So look me up on Facebook or go to goldenrobotrecords.com. And, that's it. Hope to see everyone out there on a stage soon this year and all the years coming. And new songs coming got a lot of songs coming out. I'll just put it that way.
Well, great. Again, it's always great news to hear whenever somebody has reached a level of success We're glad to hear it. Again, those things are, good for you and good for all of us. So
Don't give
again,
up. If you have a dream or a goal, don't. I've had ex-bandmates tell me, "Oh, you're chasing a pipe dream, yada yada yada." Don't listen to them. Have confidence, believe in yourself, be disciplined, and stick with it. I mean, like I said, it took 30 years, but I finally did it. So don't give up.
Absolutely. Well, folks, we've been listening to Andy Henson tonight. Again, congratulations on your success.
Thank you so much.
His links and everything will be in the show notes.
Cool.
And we will see you all next time, folks. This is Foul Players Radio signing off, and we'll see you all next time. Thank you for listening, and thank you, Andy.
Thank you.
And folks, thanks again for tuning in tonight with our interview with Andy Henson. Again, we had a great time talking. He's a singer-songwriter from Virginia with a brand new deal on Golden Robot Records, a new single out called Old Friend. And all the best of luck to him and everything. We really wish him the best. And links to his music and all this other information can be found in the show notes. Remember the Foul Players of Perryville doing murder mysteries at the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad, Fifth Company Brewing, Susky River Beverage Company, Madigan's on the Waterfront. And what's the other one? Maryland Party Boat, of course. See, you're paying attention. If you're interested in seeing the show, www.foulplayersofperryville.com. Bookings, Foul Players Perryville at yahoo.com or 443-600-0446. You can catch my show, The Back of the Rack, the Michael Spedden Show, on 97underground.com every Tuesday from 4 to 6 p.m. Download the free app. Listen to us anytime, anywhere. And also, remember, 97 Underground, Michael Spedden, on YouTube. And that way you'll be able to hear all of my interviews that I've done on the show. Go by and check it out and hit that like and subscribe button, as we would like you to do with foulplayersradio.com or anywhere you listen to it. All of the services online where you can find podcasts. Also, our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@foulplayersradio. And also, please remember to support our guests in their endeavors. Links to all their stuff can be found in the show notes of each episode. So thank you again for being great listeners. We really appreciate everything. And we will see you next time. This is Michael Spedden signing off.